Hey everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life here for a SpiegelMom Scraps process video featuring the Cardstock Warehouse and SpiegelMom Scraps collaboration that's happening for the month of January. And I went ahead and pulled in some pattern paper from Color Plays collection. Now this is a Valentine's line, I believe, from last year or the year before. I'm not exactly sure. It was, I think I might have bought it right before I went on my spending freeze. I did a bit of a spending buy and went ahead and purchased that, and it's kind of been sitting in my stash, and I wanted to work with it to kind of help work with all the fun cardstock that was in the collection that we got. So it is kind of, hearts and, the colors are different shades of pink and everything with a bit of red. And so, of course, you kind of think of hearts and Valentine's Day and all of that. And, of course, then the sequins also have the same kind of feel to them. And so I decided to just go with the heart theme and see what I could do. So I went on to the cut file, through my cut files, and I picked two different cut files, both from Paper Issues, to go ahead and use for this. One of them you can see has the fun arrows, and the other one is just like a swivelly line heart thing. And then I decided to go with some black and white photos of my two older ones. So this is Nora and Jackson, and they have a very complex relationship. I wouldn't say it's complicated, but it's a little complex, where there's days that they love each other and they want to play, and there's other times where they just want to be left alone, which I'm sure is how all siblings are. I grew up as an only child. My sister never actually officially lived with me, so I don't know how that goes yet. I'm learning along the way. But Sean assures me that it's completely normal. So I wanted to go ahead and document that, because in the photos, you can see, this one's not the photo I end up using, but in the photos, they are loving on each other, and it's really cute. They were being adorable, and I don't get a ton of those because a lot of times they don't want to be touched by the other one, so I take the opportunity when I can. So I took this really cute Project Life card. It's from the Cut Apart, and I'm gonna fussy cut out those little bunnies because one's green and one's pink, so girl, boy. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I also create a shaker pocket with one of the hearts because I liked the idea of being able to really showcase the sequins that way. So I kind of go off. I had an idea in my head on what I wanted to do, and I'm just working with this. Now, my idea didn't work, so I wanted to trace all of the hearts and just make a fun mixed media paper. I don't really know. I had it looked really great in my mind, but then it didn't work out when I went to go for it, and I actually started to work with it. So instead, I changed my mind a little bit, and I just create a different type of pattern, and I simply take a fresh piece of pattern paper. It's not pattern paper, it's cardstock, and I just redo it and make it work for me. So I'm going to show you how I do this. So you can see I'm using my pen, I'm tracing all the hearts, and I had already pre-stitched along the border because I wanted that fun pop of black. So this is where the problem is I've done this really fun border and I like it a lot, but I don't like what has happened with the tracing in the inside of what I've done, especially because I do some mixed media too, which I think you will end up seeing if I'm correct. And every once in a while this happens. You start thinking you've got this great idea and you work with it and it doesn't turn out the way you think. It's okay. You don't have to scratch it. You don't have to throw it away. Some people I know would just let it be and say, this just isn't my favorite layout. I personally can't do that. I have to work with the layout until I'm actually happy with it. And if I'm not happy with it, if you've followed me at all, you will know that I end up just re-scrapping things if I'm not happy with it. So yes. I want to highlight down at the bottom where it says crushing with some of the other sequins here. Now this just helps give a fun little whimsy play down there. Your eye does kind of go down to that, which is really helpful. And I'm just kind of stuck, what do I do now? So I'm taking my shimmers here, and you can see I'm making a heart along the outside of where I had traced, and this is where everything goes wrong. It doesn't look great. And the color was fine. It matched with the red and the pink that I had chosen to cut out with the paper. It's just the look just wasn't working. I didn't like it, and it just didn't. So what ends up happening like I said, is I grab a fresh new sheet of cardstock. I trim it so that when I place it back down, you're not going to see the mess that I made of that, but you're still going to see the outline that I did with the stitching because I want that to be seen. And I just simply spray like that. Ta-da! And I'm just gonna let that be. So I used 2 different colors, so there were different shades of pink and red, and then I used a tiny bit of water to kind of smush it around so it wasn't just like sprays, that it had a bit of a combined look to it. And then I take my heat gun to it, and I know not to trace this time. That was a big no-no for this, and so I know not to do that this time. So I'm gonna let it dry because I got it quite wet, and I'm gonna tuck this now into, like I said, the part that I had before that I wasn't happy with. And then I just make this new design that you can see like that. And I decide that it needs one more heart, so it kind of has like a subtitle. So I'm going to choose this Wild Love. It is also part of the cut apart from that photo play collection. And I love that. That one's going to go up in the corner, and I just kind of play around with how I want it. So it's like a circle of hearts with my photos in the middle, and I think it works really well. I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. It was a struggle, which makes it a little bit frustrating, but I'm happy with it. So yay for that. It was really fun to work with the cardstock. I don't play with cardstock a lot on my own. Like, it's not something I think to use very much. So it was fun to play with that and use a few different shades and colors from the pack. And then of course my sequins pocket that I love. And then I just finished off with a few more sequins, and I used all the wood veneers that came in the pink promenade, I think is what it was. I used the wooden hearts from that one, and then I just sprinkle from the New Year's Eve one, just a few more around the page, so there's some added bling. It also had the black, which was needed because there's black in a few different places, and that does it. So thank you everyone so much for watching. If you haven't, go back and check out all the other awesome layouts that have been created this month for the collaboration. And if you are interested in purchasing some sequins, you can always use my code Christy15. It will give you 15% off in the SpiegelMom Scrap Shop. And I will see you next time with another layout. I have one more plan to use a little bit more cardstock because it didn't end up being as cardstock heavy as I had originally planned. But there's a look at my finished layout, and I'll see everyone really soon. Bye.